All right, everybody. Welcome to the weekly weather briefing for today, Monday, May 6th. This is the National Weather Service in Spokane. My name's Ty Judd. We're going to be tag teaming this with our hydrologist, Catherine Rowden, on this regarding the upcoming weather, mainly for our warm and mostly dry conditions and perhaps some river flooding. Just a quick overview of what we're expecting for the upcoming week. What you see of what you get from today. High pressure that has been parked over the inland northwest over the last several days is going to continue through the week, keeping our temperatures mild basically all week. Valley temperatures in the 80s, even looking up at some of the pass levels, temperatures in the 60s. Chances for showers and isolated thunderstorms will gradually increase each day this week. Not real high chances, but you will see those in the coming slides. Those will be gradually increasing each day. Then we'll be talking about maybe a pattern change for Sunday as we perhaps move this ridge that's been parked over us to the east and get into a more active weather pattern. And we'll also be talking about, and maybe most importantly, the rising rivers. We already have a flood watch in effect for the Okanogan River near Tonasket and affecting Okanogan County, and Catherine will get into that a little bit later on. So this is just one graphic of what we're going to see for this week. Like I said, what you see is what you get for this week. This is basically going to be common all week. Where valley temperatures are going to be in the 80s. Start going up in elevations. Even if you look at some of the pass levels, we're in the 60s. And that's going to be very little change each day. So whatever snowmelt we have going on, it's not going to slow down as far as on our mid-slopes. But we do start bringing in some showers and isolated thunderstorm chances beginning tomorrow. This graphic shows you can see mostly the brown, which is next to nothing as far as precip chances. But as you start to get into the higher elevations of northeast Washington and into parts of the Idaho Panhandle, we do start seeing some chances increase for the afternoon and early evening hours. There could be some thunder with this as well, so we will have to watch those lightning strikes. But we'll see as when we go to the next slide, as you'll see some of these yellow colors start coming in a little bit more over the higher elevations of northeast Washington and the Idaho Panhandle. But you will notice that you look at the most of the Columbia Basin into the West Plains, pretty dry still. So although we will see perhaps increased coverage of some showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, and then we'll get into Thursday and Friday, we'll see those chances increase a little bit more in aerial coverage. But once again, valleys do remain dry. So mild and dry for the valley locations, but we will start seeing precipitation chances increase for the higher elevations. And of course, with the warm temperatures and the higher elevations with some precipitation, we'll have to start seeing if there's may contribute to some additional flooding, especially over the Cascades and the northern Idaho Panhandle. But like I mentioned before, perhaps we're looking at a pattern change on Sunday. Don't want to get too technical with this graphic, but you can see where I've got on the left side there with that dashed line. That's basically where our ridge of high pressure has been sitting for the last several days and can continue this week. But as we get into the latter part of the week and into next week, we'll start to see that ridge of high pressure pushing off to the east. And we'll start to get to more of an active flow. With an active flow, that actually means increased precipitation chances, perhaps some slightly cooler temperatures, although we're not looking at anything cold by any stretch, but perhaps not as warm as we have been late in the week and then early next week, but definitely chances are there for increased precipitation chances, which could lead to some additional flooding, so we will have to watch that. And with that, I will hand it off to Catherine, and she'll talk about some of the river flooding.
Okay, hello everyone. I just want to take the opportunity, since there's some chance of thunderstorms, to bring everybody's attention back to the fact that there's burn scars over in Chelan County, around Wenatchee, Kashmir, Eniat. So as we get into the more active thunderstorm season, not necessarily this week, but we're going to have an increased risk of debris flows and flash flooding in those areas. So just wanted to bring that back to everyone's attention, since we're getting into that season now. So for this week, the main issue is the snowmelt. Up in the BC, there's still quite a bit of snow that's going to be coming down into the northern Idaho Panhandle, north central Washington, and down in the East Cascades, and right up in there in the Cascades in BC. Sorry, that graphic is just modeled snowpack, snow water equivalent that's still up in the mountains. Those purples and reds are a lot of water, 20 to 30 inches of water still left in the snowpack up there. So these graphics are of the SNOTEL stations that the NRCS has in the mountains. The black line that you see across the graph is the tracked snow water equivalent for this winter. So up in the top left, that's Harts Pass SNOTEL. That's up in the northern Cascades up in Okanogan County. And they still have about 45 inches of water in the snowpack up there. So there's a lot of water. And the one in the lower right, that's the Moye Mountain. That's a Canadian snow measurement site, and they have about 11 inches of water, which is still enough to cause some issues on the Moye River, which we'll see in a second. So just wanted to show you there's still a lot of snow. A lot of the SNOTELs have started melting off, and some of the lower elevations are already done, which is fortunate. So Okanogan River, we do have a flood watch in effect. This is the river forecast for that. We're expecting to hit flood stage late Wednesday and potentially have some moderate flooding by the end of the weekend into next week. So we'll be updating this forecast every day with the latest temperatures to see how that tracks. So probably a flood warning will be coming out later today, tomorrow on that river. So other rivers are going to be rising from the snow melt due to the high temperatures. The Moye River at Eastport up in Boundary County, Idaho, is expected to get up over action stage later this week. Stehekin River up in Chelan County at the top end of Lake Chelan, they're going to see some high water. That's the forecast in the lower right. And looks like it's going to stay high all week. Now these are rivers we definitely want to check every day with the new forecast just to make sure they're staying well behaved and not getting higher than we are forecasting today. Kootenai River is also going to see some high levels from Libby Dam outflow and the inflow from the Yak, the Fisher, and the Moye, but no flooding forecast there. Kettle River near Ferry, we're definitely going to be watching every day. They're getting some snow melt down from BC. They're expected to get up over action stage probably tomorrow and get potentially within a foot of action or foot of flood stage by half a foot of flood stage by Wednesday. So we'll be watching that one really closely. And then, of course, the other rivers in the East Cascades, the Eniat, the Similkameen, no flooding is forecast, but they are going to be flowing high. And just a note for those interested in the Similkameen River, that has a new flood stage. It was raised 1 foot, so the new flood stage there is 14 feet. We issued a press release last week. You can find it on our webpage. And then I'll hand it over to Ty for the last bit here, and I'll be around for questions too at the end.
Okay, so in case you're interested in what's for our 8 to 14 day outlook, on the left-hand side we do have our temperature outlook. Oranges are warm. As you start getting to those deeper oranges, the confidence goes up a little higher. But as you can see on the right-hand side, as far as precipitation goes, for for much of Washington, maybe not as much into the Idaho Panhandle, for much of Washington, there is an increased chance of above normal precipitation. So warm temperatures, above normal precipitation, for the period, like I said before, we could see an increase in some of the river flooding that she was just talking about. So that is something definitely to watch. One thing, it does look like maybe this warm and dry pattern that we're in, maybe it shifts to more of a warm and potentially more wet period for several days. So definitely something to watch. So just to kind of summarize what we've talked about, mild or early summer-like temperatures will continue basically through the work week. The chances for precipitation over the higher elevations will gradually increase, although they're not really high, but nonetheless they are there. And looking at possibly a pattern change beginning on Sunday into next week, and meaning increased chances for showers and thunderstorms. And we'll have to continue to monitor the flooding basically through next week. So if you got any feedback, please send us an email to the nws.spokane@noaa.gov email address. And you can always follow us on all these different mediums here, the website, the Facebook, Twitter, you can watch this on YouTube and, of course, on our weather radio. So if you guys have any questions, we will be happy to take them now.